top line story is that Donald Trump's Truth Social company, TMTG, is merging 50-50 with a nuclear fusion company based in Southern California called TAE, making a combined public company. That's the top line. But below that, here's the question that I'm going to explore on this hot take in this continuing story. Is Donald Trump using his perch as the president of the United States in control of the U.S. Department of Energy, which is responsible for regulatory and licensing approval, to benefit this public company that he and his family are now 50-50 owners of? Because these nuclear fusion power plants that TAE is going to build, and they are a Google, Alphabet, Goldman Sachs based entity with lots of cash, $1.6 billion raised. They want to build these little nuclear power plants all around America to help the power grid to fuel artificial intelligence, which is a big energy suck, by the way, along with cryptocurrency. They want to build them all around America. Okay. And Donald Trump already, we know, has written policies to eliminate things that wouldn't benefit this company, like solar and water and hydroelectric. He doesn't want any of that. Right now, we know why. And in order to get these plants built, they're going to need what? U.S. Department of Energy approvals and licensing. In fact, this company has, according to this PowerPoint deck that I have my hands on, this company already has 8 Department of Energy contracts. Now, I know why TAE wanted to get into business with Donald Trump and his family, because who wouldn't want to marry the regulator? You need a license approval. U.S. Department of Energy. Who's in control of that ultimately? The executive branch and Donald Trump. Let's get down to it right here on MeidasTouch Network. Look, before I jump all the way in, we're about to roll the odometer to 1 million subscribers, and over on Legal AF YouTube, in the notes and the top row, find the link. Hit the subscribe button. You probably aren't subscribed. You probably think you are. It'll help us. The bigger we get on Legal AF YouTube, the more muscular and robust we are. We're ready for 2026. Let's go into this type of story, which is why you're here on MeidasTouch and Legal AF. We woke up this morning, yes, to the distracting narrative that Donald Trump is unhinged and was angry and was yelling and screaming and bellicose at voters. But that was all a ruse, because they were also going to announce, that was all, crazy daddy over here, because they were going to announce a $6 billion merger between TMTG, which is known in the stock world under its ticker DJT for Donald J. Trump, which is run by his sons, but we really know it's run by Donald Trump, and TAE, a company that goes back about 20 years, backed by Google, backed by Goldman Sachs, backed by Chevron in the nuclear fusion business. Nuclear fusion took a big leap to be able to generate power needs for all of these industries and for Americans about 2 or 3 years ago, when lasers were used to unleash tremendous power in this fusion arena. And that's what this company's technology is trying to harness and build these power plants, the size large enough to be what they call utility size, like be able to service a community, or in this case, AI, supercomputers, and energy needs, and those of cryptocurrency. And it's all sort of a side venture of Truth Social and Donald Trump. They're going to merge. It's going to be about a $6 billion event. It's going to be even more than that, because Donald Trump's assets, he's been publicly traded now for, over 2 years. Stock's down 73%. It took a bump of 20% up because of this merger. He needed desperately an asset that people cared about. Truth Social sucks. Nobody's on it. Nobody wants to be on it. Trump TV, I don't even think it exists. Truth Finances isn't doing well. They had taken on a horde of cryptocurrency, but cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular, they had it stashed away on their treasury to bolster their balance sheet. That's gone. That's nosedived under the Trump administration. So they needed a viable asset in order to promote to the American people. That's what Truth Social needed, Trump needed. And they've got this fusion thing, right? This power plant thing. Now they're going to put that on the balance sheet and see if the stock price can pump back up to the benefit of Donald Trump and his family. Now, I know what TAE gets out of this. They're basically buying the regulator in Donald Trump. I caught on page 6 of the PowerPoint deck, we'll put it up on the screen, that this TAE disclosed that it has, here's on page 6, 8 more than 8 U.S. Department of Energy awards, right? That's not even. So they're already in bed with the U.S. Department of Energy controlled by Donald Trump. But they need more from the U.S. Department of Energy and more from other regulatory entities like the Environmental Protection Agency. Any other regulator that's going to deal with power, the construction, the approval, the environmental impact is all under the control of Donald Trump. Why wouldn't you want to be in business with a president that's willing to operate businesses during his presidency? Now, I get what they get out of it. But what are they? Because when I look at the description of when they list their relative strengths and why they're merging, this is the best that Donald Trump's company can come up with. You ready for this? They have a list and what they each bring to the equation. Now you know why. Oh, I think when I'm done with this, I think you'll know why this is all about Donald Trump's control of the EPA and the Energy Department. And that's what they're bringing, but they can't say that. So here's what they say instead. Truth Social, TMTG, they bring to the table experience with large capital raises and complex regulatory processes. Okay, that is word salad. That means nothing. Every public company has experience with large capital raises, and they also know how to navigate complex regulatory processes. Again, Donald Trump in control of the Securities and Exchange Commission. They say, here's another benefit. It's the company's publicly listed. It's a public company. Okay, that's every public company. And then it has a mission of America first investments. There's that America first thing solidified through this deal. So we wanted to buy the company because it's American. That's the best they got. The fusion company, they brag about 27 years of fusion research, 5 fusion reactors, 400 employees, 62 PhDs, and 1,600 patents. I get why they want to marry the regulator and benefit from it. And then under why Truth Social is buying TAE or merging with them strengthens national security. Right. Did you know the liver is the second largest organ in your body? It's responsible for over 500 functions. But for some reason, liver health doesn't always get the attention it deserves. Over 30% of Americans have a sluggish liver, a problem that often goes undetected until the very last minute. Dose is on a mission to educate us all on why it's so important to maintain your liver health and has created an incredible product to help you do just that. I mean, I found a clinically supported, potent, and effective solution, and I can't wait to share it with you. Dose for Your Liver was formulated to cleanse your liver of unwanted elements, aid digestion. I mean, it acts as your body's filter, flushing out unwanted elements and breaking down what you consume into essential nutrients. The liver produces and regulates cholesterol, stores vitamins and minerals, and impacts digestive and metabolic health, among many other things. Dose's science-backed formula promotes liver function, aids digestion, eases bloating, and even boosts energy levels. In a double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial, Dose for Your Liver lowered liver enzyme levels by 50% in over 86% of participants. Stick with Dose and feel the incredible benefits over time. More energy, better digestion, reduced bloating, healthier liver enzyme function, reduction in brain fog, and better sleep. 1 Dose for Your Liver shot is equivalent to 17 shots of turmeric juice. Dose is gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, and vegan. Save 30% on your first month of subscription by going to dosedaily.co/legalaf or entering legalaf at checkout. That's dosedaily.co/legalaf for 30% off your first month subscription. So here's yet another example in public now of Donald Trump using his power of the presidency, his control, according to the Supreme Court, his unitary, unlimited, unfettered control of the executive branch under Article 2 and control of all of the agencies, departments that make up his administration, Energy, Securities and Exchange Commission, EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, all the things that would benefit a merging partner, a stakeholder like TAE, he brings to the table. And so while he announces to the American people, even though they're suffering under hyperinflation, job market, unemployment at its highest since before COVID, grocery prices through the roof, pain at the pump, pain at the grocery store, pain at the school, pain in shopping, pain at healthcare, pain at basic needs and essentials, and gives a speech to try to get people to love him more, and yelling and screaming at them during this unhinged speech last night. He announces in the morning that his company's he's going to be making billions and billions of dollars off the back of his presidency. And you wonder why there's major reporting now that between the Epstein scandal and cover-up and Donald Trump's mishandling of the economy, he's lost grip on MAGA, the party, if it ever really existed, and on his abilities to be loved and respected and favored by the American people. You see the reason. He's completely focused on making money for his family and retribution, and not on making your and my life better. We'll continue to follow what happens next. I'm not sure, let's just make my prediction. I'm not sure the Trump Securities and Exchange Commission is going to have much problem with this transaction. I'm not sure the Trump Department of Energy is going to have much problem with these transactions or future power plant licensing. I don't think the Trump Department of Environmental Protection is going to have much problem with the siting and building of any of these facilities around the country. Do you? Leave it in notes. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button for Legal AF YouTube while you're here. Until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.